Hallelujah, Lord. No. Start over.
Just go.
Oh, there's a fish. Detroit River. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how I make a mold that has the inserts for the screws and the hook hangers. So it's all there ready to go once you pour your bait. Alright, to get started, we're just starting with some modeling clay. Never use the stuff that contains sulfur, like the cheap kind that you find at Walmart and that. I'll put a picture and a link in the description to what I use. That other stuff, I've used it before and it just has a reaction to the silicone and it gets all goopy. You just don't want that. Just use this stuff here. It's sulfur free, works great. It's really cheap. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. Right, to start off, I pop that clay in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that way I can roll it out really flat and it's real soft. And then now I'm gonna cover these screws, completely cover it, but I still want that seam right down the middle of my bait. So when I'm doing the flashing, sanding that down, it's just on the smooth part. You don't want it over your scales or nothing because you're gonna be sanding that down later. So you want it right down the middle, and then I make a little buildup of clay right here on the top, and that's going to give you a negative space when you pour your silicone. That's going to be your little gate, is what they call it, where you pour your resin into. Generally, I like to do about a 1/2 inch gate on that. It leaves room for some of that resin to sit in there, and it's going to pull resin down as it's hardening, and sometimes it'll push it out too, but you just want that little gate. Now I'm just scraping around the edges of the bait. The cleaner you do this, the cleaner your flashing will be at the end. And also, you want to keep that mold, or you want to keep that clay really smooth. It'll keep that mold real nice and tight when you go and put the rubber bands on later. Press the two pieces together. Alright, next up I like to add my mold release, and all that is just petroleum jelly. You can use Vaseline too. I've always found this to work very well. You don't get none really on the bait. If you do, it doesn't really do anything to it. I still like to clean my molds before I use them, but I've heard people have problems with mold release on their bait, and then it gets on the silicone, and their first couple of casts are usually ruined. It kind of reacts to the resin. So I'd really like to just use that petroleum jelly. And you can see right there that I've covered that hook hanger too, that little barrel swivel. You just cover it up, you don't got to totally bury it, just enough to where it's covered with clay. Next up, we're going to be putting the mold housing in. I did this earlier beforehand and measured out that square and cut it to size. And now we can just place it right around it, and then I'm going to be pushing little holes in. I just use my knife and put a little Vaseline on there, and I like to do this after I put the housing around because it pushes that clay up against those walls, kind of displaces it. And I also go in with the paintbrush end and just clean that up a little bit, make sure there's no gaps in between. The next step is something that I found out totally by accident. I had a space heater going in my room and it cured the silicone in probably faster than half the time. It was really amazing. This stuff you really kind of want it to cure fast because it will find a way to escape out of the little cracks in that. And it's nice to just get it done and over with. You can hurry up and get your other piece done. I mean, with that space heater going in a little tiny room, that'll be ready to demold in probably a half hour. I just put it on 80 degrees and keep it right there by it. Normally I wouldn't be able to demold that until maybe about 2-3 hours, depending on the temperature in that room. This is a really good time-saving trick that I came across. It saves me a bunch of time. I can make 2 molds a day. I used to be able to make 1 a day. Now you're ready to pop that mold apart. Now that I put that petroleum jelly, you're probably wondering why I put that on the clay. You can easily pull that clay away now from that silicone. It's not all sticky on there. It just pops right off. Just clean up that clay. Now we're gonna make the little gate on this side the same way we did on the first half. Just keep it clean. That's your little pour spout. You want to keep it open pretty wide. And another trick is too, no one's ever mentioned this to me in mold making videos before, but absolutely make that pour spout on the top of your bait. Never do it on the bottom. All those little bubbles in the bait are gonna go up to the top, and that's gonna make your bait float upright. I really wish I knew this trick a long time ago. There's baits that I made that just were really crappy in the water and I had to scrap them, and I never knew why until I made another mold out of that exact same bait and did it with the holes on the top, and it made such a difference. It was night and day. So now you can see here that swivel right there, your little hook hanger, is sitting right above that first layer of silicone. There's just a little gap in between, and I put clay inside those holes on the screws and the hook hanger, so when you pull that clay away, it just slides right out. You don't want it filling in those holes in between. It'll just make it harder for you to get it out later on. Right here, I'm just checking the bait to make sure no silicone leached through that clay and got on the bait. Sometimes you get some, it'll just look like it just dripped onto the other side on the back end of the bait. And then you'll end up molding it and you'll see that mark on the bait that doesn't look like something you carved, and you'll realize it's just the silicone that was left over. You want to really make sure that's all cleaned up on this side. Now we're just putting that petroleum jelly on this half of the mold. And you really want to get that poured right away. You don't want to put your petroleum jelly on there and leave it on there for like a day or even a few hours, because it'll start to, I don't know if it evaporates or if it absorbs it, but it'll make it a little bit harder to pull that mold apart. You kind of want to just get it poured on there right away. Alright, now this is just a repeat of the first step with that silicone, but right here I'm going to show you a trick. When you put that housing back on, you'll get little gaps in between, and that's where you lose a lot of your silicone. I've had so much pour out, it's ridiculous in the past, and I've used tape, I've used hot glue, but this right here is the best trick I've found. You just fill that with some of that petroleum jelly, and that stuff really doesn't move. It's really waterproof. It just sits up in those cracks. You can really pack it down in there, but later on when you demold it, just wipe it off, get it cleaned up with a paper towel or a rag or something so it ain't too messy. And I just repeated that first step. Here you can see I'm cleaning off that Vaseline, getting it all clean, get ready to demold. I gotta give a shout out to my buddy John from John Outdoors, who sent me these mold housings. You seen that I was just using cardboard boxes and he sent these out. That's what he uses. I really appreciate him doing that. These things are way easier than using cardboard. Now this step, you want to be real careful with it. If it's giving you any trouble, you just got to go in there with your knife and just cut the little pieces back that might have stuck together. Sometimes that jelly, you just didn't get enough on there or something, and it'll stick into spots. That's why you want to be really thorough with doing it. Get a nice smooth layer. As you can see, I had to cut a few pieces back. We're just cutting that with the knife. Be careful with that. You don't want to cut yourself. It's really easy to do that with this silicone. You don't want to pull too hard on it too, because you can rip that silicone. When you first pull that first one apart like this, it's still a little soft and it can rip on you. Alright, now that it's all apart, you can see how I do this process of just popping the little barrel swivel down in there. And normally, like these type of molds that I've seen that people do this, they'll just have it to where they kind of split it down the middle. And I've done that before too. I have molds like that, but the barrel swivel will end up sliding out of place and you'll have to put like a pin into it, and then it kind of rocks back and forth, and this way it's just sitting there. I don't got to worry about it moving out of place when I go and put those two pieces together. And I know a few people online on Instagram that make these type of molds for you, and they're very expensive. I mean, hundreds of dollars to have one of these made, and you could do it yourself. You can get a silicone kit for $25 and have a mold done. You can get a big gallon jugs for $80. And this really saves me a lot of money, and it's quick turnaround. I can do it myself. And you also don't want to be spending that kind of money on a mold on a bait that you don't know is going to work for sure. So this really is a big lifesaver. And here's a little tip too. Some of these barrel swivels will kind of rock back and forth in your bait and go side to side when you're pouring it. And I just take a little bitty pin right there, and I just bend that one side over and stick that pin down in there, and now it won't rock back and forth on me. Some of the swivels will do that. Some of them are more sturdy. It just depends on which one you get if you have that problem, but this works really great. And I'll drop a link in the description to that pin too that I use. There's the finished product. Got your bait poured and it's already in there. You ain't got to worry about putting a pin through the side. That's what I used to do. I used to drill the hole out, stick the swivel in there, put a pin through to lock it in place. Now it's just in there. I've tested these. I mean, they're in there really good too, especially with that bent over style. It ain't going nowhere. You ain't even got to worry about it. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you get some baits made in a lot easier and more efficient way. If you guys got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I always love answering them and helping you guys out. I love hearing that these videos help people out and making baits. That's why I like making them. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. God bless you. Have fun out there.